Hey, what's up, everyone? I probably need to improve my going live soon screen, but anyway, that is my going live soon screen, and we have now gone live. Tomorrow is the October SAT. It's gonna get started in the East Coast in like uh 14 or so hours from now, and you guys will all be in your test centers hopefully 13 or so hours from now in the East Coast. We have Pixel here, who is six. If it's 3:35, what time is that? Is that Pacific time? What? No, it's not. It's like in India, right? GMT plus five. What is GMT plus five? I don't know what that is. But hey, welcome to the stream, Pixel, and you need to get to sleep, dude. You need to get to sleep. Meanwhile, I just woke up and I did not I did not wipe my glasses. So I'm gonna do that now. And I have gross. Yes. Eye boogers. Pixel, if you need to go to sleep, I do not recommend listening to nonfiction anything that includes the SAT. So things that are practical, I don't think are going to be helpful to listen to when you are trying to sleep. Um, Maybe reading some fiction, maybe listening to some history or rain sounds. These are things that might help. Uh, that said, who knows? I mean, I know some people who just fall asleep no matter what. Like my girlfriend, for example, she can she can fall asleep while looking at Instagram, which is insane to me. Like, I don't understand how that's possible. All right, so where are we right now? Uh, you're in Pakistan? Okay. Well, welcome, Pakistan. Guys, it is. So today's stream, I'm gonna just make myself available to talk about, any questions that you have for the SAT. It's kind of aimed at the U.S. time zone because if you're not in the U.S., you probably should be asleep at this point. And so if you are here from Asia, just good luck on the test. Lock in and make sure to treat it just like any other practice test so that you don't like panic and do weird things that you've never done before, okay? Try to keep it simple, keep it the same that you've been doing. Keep solving it in the same way that you've been solving it. So good luck, Asia, on the SAT, which is coming up. I mean, in Korea, people should be actually driving right now to the test center at this point, or on their way to the test centers at this point, and they should be what's it? They should have their admissions ticket or whatever it's called, and ready to go, ready to go. So, for context, that's what's happening in the world right now. We have other kids from Asia joining. Your test is in 1 hour. Good luck. Make sure not to do anything too new, too different today. Just stick to what you've already been doing. And Puli is saying you feel like you've learned everything. You just need to boost. The thing is that you can't boost your vocab. Oh, you just actually I just realized you're not trying to boost your vocab. You're trying to boost your performance on the word and context questions. What do? You predict, man. You predict and you match. You predict and you match. And then if you can't predict and you can't match, then you go into process elimination. But if process elimination takes too long, just skip and return. All right. So if you are here from the U.S., or Asia, just say hi. If you are, how can you get better at transitions in a couple hours? Yeah, that's a good idea. Trying to improve on things in the last couple hours. How do you get better on transitions? You do what I do, which is you predict the answers. People don't actually do this, by the way. Like even though they'll see me do it, they'll just like not follow me. Just predict the answer. You'll be surprised at how much easier the transition questions are when you predict the answer. So go for it. Can I go over the picture that Avika posted in SAT? There was a very similar question, and the answer was sample size. I can if it's sourced. So let's look if it's sourced. Give me a sec. Yeah, so I think for this one, I can't really talk about that as far as I can tell. So I'm just going to leave that off screen for now. So Blue Book Plus and some of these other resources are kind of weird resources for me because, or weird resources for me as a YouTuber because the College Board reserves the right to their materials, and I think Blue Plus might be using the materials. The thing is that the fact that the College Board hasn't taken down Blue Book Plus, or even OnePrep for that matter, which is interesting because OnePrep only uses what's already publicly available. The fact that those websites aren't taken down, it doesn't mean it's like legally that College Board legally has no rights over them. They can be taken down. Maybe they're operating in countries where it's kind of harder to take them down because maybe those countries don't really abide by intellectual property laws or whatever. So it's hard for me to speculate about why they're still up. They really shouldn't still be up. And what College Board should really be doing is they should be releasing their practice tests. Or sorry, they should be releasing their past tests. And I'm going to keep saying this over and over. They need to be releasing their past tests so that we're out of this weird legally gray zone. So I want people to be able to to study, like high quality questions. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of high quality questions. There's just a few that the College Board release every once in a while. It's frustrating, but yeah, can't talk about that question. Let's go back to Pulley, 1460 September. I mean, that doesn't Pulley. You're definitely inferring conclusions from very limited data. Maybe what you need to do is you need to do better on grammar and transitions. The fact that you were maxed out on grammar and transitions does not mean you got an 800. You are performing at the 800 level even the 700 level for those questions. There's if you just do a quick search in Reddit or quick scan through Reddit, you'll find a bunch of posts of people being like, wait, I got full bars. How come I have a 730? It's So right now, I think I already told you my answer to you earlier, okay? Predict and match. That's basically the answer. If you want to have you need a clearly defined process for these questions. If you don't have a clearly defined process for these questions, then you're just going to always be randomly performing well at times and randomly performing poorly at times. And that just comes with not having an approach. If you don't have an approach, then you don't even know what you're changing, right? You're just improvising every single time. So have a clearly defined approach. And so for grammar questions, plug in A and look for errors, and then fix the errors on your own. That's called prediction. And then look for the thing that matches your prediction. Okay. For transition questions, go and predict the answer by figuring out the relationship between the previous parts of the passage and the later parts of the passage. make a prediction, and then match your prediction. And if you don't have a match for your prediction, which oftentimes you won't because transition questions can be tricky with the matching, then what you do is you process eliminate by at least eliminating all the ones that don't match your prediction, right? And then that will help you get through it. And you, if you're scoring at 670, right, that means you actually are still getting transitions wrong. You're still getting maybe even some synthesis questions wrong. You're still getting some grammar wrong. The full bar does not mean that you got nothing wrong. It means that you got maybe 3 wrong, up to maybe 3 wrong. And so I think that's something you might be inferring the wrong conclusion from it, because 670 means you still need to improve on everything. Okay, you still need to improve on everything. Now, that said, obviously craft and structure, it does mean that you're dropping points on some easier craft and structure questions and some easier information and ideas questions. But again, this comes back to information ideas questions tend to be harder, so I would actually prioritize craft and structure questions. That's not just vocab questions, by the way. That's main purpose, that's overall structure, that's part function, what's the function of this portion of the text, right? That's cross text, which is really hard, can be really hard compared to some other questions. That one, the skill ceiling and the skill floor is very wide. Like the range is very wide. It's a lot of different types of questions. It's not just word and context questions, right? And you think you're getting the vocab questions wrong, quote unquote, but it might be because you're actually dropping points on like overall structure questions. You're drawing wrong inferences, or you're drawing confident inferences from very limited data here. So go and just make sure that you can actually predict the answers for like your overall structure questions, right? If you can't, I mean, not to pump it, but I have a course that teaches you how to do that. But if you can't, right, then you have to define a different approach. Even if you can't do the thing that I do on my streams, right, you need to have some approach for those questions. Now, how are you going to apply a new approach on the real test tomorrow for the first time in your life? Should you be applying a new approach that you've never tried before for the first time in your life tomorrow? No. Trying a new approach on test day is only going to increase panic. So no, don't do that. But so for tomorrow, just lock it and do what you've been doing and just do the best that you can. And then try to figure out what you can do to learn for maybe the November SAT. The likelihood of you trying something new tomorrow and actually doing better is far outweighed by the fact that when you try something new, you are now putting yourself into a state of uncertainty. And when you are in a state of uncertainty, what happens? You start second guessing yourself. You're on edge the whole time. And when you're on edge the whole time, what happens? You start panicking, and then you start trying another new thing and another new thing and another new thing that you've never tried before ever in your life. Now you're like jumping from question, like maybe you have never skipped questions 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 ever before in your life, at least before in the recent practice tests. And then on the real test, now that you're trying all these new things and you're panicking, now you're like jumping to question 15. And then now like now the timer in your head is all messed up because nothing on the timer matches up with your practice test. And so every time you're doing the comparisons, and now you're like, oh shit, I have no idea how much time I'm supposed to have left. And so now you're rushing, and now you're dropping points on the grammar point. Now you're dropping points on the grammar questions, bro. Chill, okay? Rewind. You do not need to put yourself into a position when you're doing new things on the real test on test day. That's ridiculous. Okay, you are not going to. If you practiced like 1,000 roundhouse kicks, then how come? All right, you're coming to test day with boxing gloves on, and now you're trying to box it down. It's ridiculous, right? If you've done 1,000 roundhouse kicks, go and kick the test tomorrow. All right, do not suddenly start boxing the test tomorrow. Where are we? Pixel is saying, yeah, I'm a little lazy with the YouTubes. I mean, I am happy to do. For reference, I tend to get fixated on one thing and focus on that one thing. So for the upcoming 3 months, or 2 months really, for the upcoming 2 months, I'm probably going to just fixate on course content to improve the course, and I'm going to be writing like new lessons basically. So for example, like, what are the answers to these questions? Should you always save time? Is it always good to save time on the synthesis questions, also known as the student notes questions, by skipping the bullet points? Why does it sometimes hurt your, why is it sometimes bad to skip the bullet points? If you end the test with, if you end the first pass through with 5 minutes, and you have 5 questions that are bookmarked, why is it sometimes okay to spend more than 1 minute per question? You know, how do you save 2 minutes on the data, like graph and the graph and table questions? Because a lot of times kids are spending 3 minutes on them, and you can cut that down to 1. Like, so how do you save 2 minutes on those? So these are questions that I will get down, like, really into the nitty gritty, like moment by moment by moment. So like basically the my focus in the course is how to actually do the thing that I do in these streams. And so I have a bunch of lessons that I haven't really put into the course yet. And some lessons I realized I needed to put in the first place that I'd forgotten to. So I'm going to do a bunch of that in the next 2 months. I'm also going to focus on probably question type breakdowns. So I'm going to do that for the course in the next 2 months, which means that I'm probably not going to do a lot of YouTube. YouTube is, I mean, if I were 2 people, if I were 3 people, I'd probably just do more stuff. But I'm just not very good at multitasking, which means that I am looking for somebody who is not just good. I don't really care so much about good, but who enjoys doing short form content. I would happily hire somebody who is good at short form content or just enjoys making short form content, because because I need the help right now. I'm doing too many things at once. I'm designing software. I'm designing curricula and writing the curriculum, and writing questions, which is like a whole other set of skills, which is like extremely painful and different from writing the curriculum, which you might be surprised that those are very different, but they are very different. Writing curricula and writing questions are like 2 different jobs. And because the SAT, the questions on the SAT are much harder than typical. And I am YouTubing for free, and Discord keep community stuffing for free, and taking sales calls for tutoring, and it's just a mess, dude. My life, I'm just doing too many things, and I'm not even. Oh, and I'm teaching actual classes for one-on-one students right now. So my schedule is just a Frankenstein, and I actually just need more. I need more hands. And I need to build the business so that I can start paying people more steady income and actually build this out. So, and plus YouTube and video editing, that's not really my strength, and that's not my passion. It just feels like I'm actually just like, I love teaching, but I could love video editing if I had a lot of time, if that was the only thing I'm doing. But right now I'm not making money off of YouTube, right? YouTube doesn't make me any money. my courses make me money and my tutoring makes me money. So I need to focus on building that out so that I can maybe pay somebody who actually enjoys video making, right? In the future, to actually help me out with the video side of things. Because yeah, I just don't think I'll be a video person. Now, if I post the walkthroughs as videos, yeah, I mean, I would, but then I'd have to make. So the thing about my walkthroughs is that I could probably in the future do sort of the more clickbaity, the easy explanations, like, like the grammar stuff. That's easy, right? But all the really technical stuff, I mean, if I put that out on YouTube, first of all, it's just bad business. Like, why would I put all the technical stuff that all the other tutors can't do because they don't analyze the test like I do? Like, why would I put that out for free on YouTube? It's like, it's just bad business. I need to like make money so that I can pay the developer and I can pay, which I already have, right? We're building software, and I need money to be so that I can pay the. So in the future, if I get like a content or social media intern, right, then I need to be able to pay that person. I need money to build this business. Oh, so it's just bad. It's just bad business to like have the one thing that I'm really good at, just be out there be out there for free. When really people are paying for the course and they're happy with the course. So why would I do that? But also the thing is that YouTube doesn't reward like super technical stuff. I mean, I'm just content on YouTube. You click from this to that. My explanations for things like. Sometimes you just need to like sit down and focus. And YouTube's not the best channel for that. So. So if you want like a deeper understanding of like the moment to moment like decision making and like what you can do at any given moment, like we need to focus. You need to actually sit down and focus and actually figure out how to like process that on an actual question, right? So YouTube is not the best channel for that, just even from a learning perspective. Like you can get the general ideas in YouTube, that's fine, but and you can also learn like quick tricks, like used whenever there's two commas, you should skip over it. Like, okay, fine, like I can say that shit too. Like it's whenever there's an ing at the beginning of the sentence, skip to the first comma and then look for the subject. Okay, I can do that too. Like this is already all out there, right? I probably can and should compete with that on YouTube if I was serious about YouTube, but that's not what my videos are. My videos are not about the stuff that's already out there. It's about stuff it's about basically how to take the test like me, right? Which is oftentimes not it doesn't match up with the tips and tricks that are out there. Anyway, I spent too long talking about myself, so I'm going to stop. But Pixel, thanks for the support. My plan right now is to build a course, but hey, if there's anyone out there who likes making short form videos and who likes editing videos, let me know. I already kind of had like a mini hire during the summer, but she was super busy. And so we couldn't really make it work consistently. So I do. Maybe when she's done with college apps, then we'll get started on that. But if you want to come in before and kind of seize the opportunity, let me know. Birthday, Puli. Well, hey, happy birthday tomorrow. And so good luck today. Software, 4 years. Yeah. I heard that software, you guys are very, very, your career prospects are now apparently extremely insecure. So that's scary. But yes, I actually have a developer at the moment. I think I need more help on front end and product decisions. Actually, not just front end, it's more product. So, but the problem with product is it's a lot of things. It's business and design, and that's the kind of thing that but at the end of the day, I'm okay with learning on the job. So yeah, I haven't really made a decision. Like right now we're not at the point where the bottleneck is actually the development. Right now, the bottleneck is actually the product and the design. Like, what should we build, and what is the need, and what is the pain, and what is going to make money, and what those are things that are a little. It's hard to have. It's hard to get somebody that's good at that isn't gonna wildly like upset my business finances, because God, people with experience with product and design in terms of, it's just gonna cost a lot of money when it comes down to it, and I just don't have that kind of money at the moment with the business that I'm building right now. In the future, I want to have that kind of money, but right now I don't. So could I have a developer who is willing to trial and error it? Well, I guess if that's maybe, but I'd want to know. In that case, I'd really, really, really want to know how you learn from mistakes, and not mistakes, how you learn from the user. And I'd really want to know how. I'd really want to see what you've done to build a successful product that wasn't a success right away. So what is the process by which you brought that, to success? And that is, that is, and I don't expect any software developer who is like watching this YouTube video right now to have a clearly defined. So, but hey guys, how come no one's talking about the SAT? Now I'm just talking about other stuff. Hey, welcome to the stream. Let me know about your worries. Anyway, let me go and raid Reddit. Don't do anything you've never done. Don't suddenly do. Out of all days that you can possibly choose to try something you've never ever done before in your life, why test it? Dude, like the thing about this is that's a freaking mile, man. Like it could be a good idea. I mean, it is a good idea. It's a great idea, right? The idea is amazing, but the problem is sometimes the idea and the reality don't actually line up, right? Because maybe the 1 mile is actually going to exhaust your body, right? And like it depends on you. I mean, and actually, I think probably for 10 out of 10 people. Okay, how about this? For 10 people who actually are kind of athletic, I think 8 out of 10 will still benefit from it, even if it's the first time ever. But there's 2 out of 10 people who are still kind of athletic, where if they wake up and they go straight to running a mile, there could be other side effects, right? Just like exhaustion and I don't know, like overstimulation. I don't know. It could be other things that goes on, right? So it's just. Have you ever Have you ever have it? All right, Pixel. Good luck on the test tomorrow. Wait, so no questions in the stream? All right, guys. I'm gonna wrap up the stream soon. Then, if there's no engagement, because I'll just like I don't know, I'll just go to Reddit and Discord then. But if you are here, if you have questions, just say hi. Let me know you're here. This is a pretty dead stream compared to August, so I'm not gonna squeeze it. I'm not gonna force it. I feel like by forcing it, I just end up talking about things that are not relevant. So, okay. Here you go. For majority kids, light jog should be good. I feel like I'm over explaining this. I want to simplify it, but these kids are hopeless, bro. Yeah, they are. There's no answer for them. Uh, quick question: how confident are you? I guess if you're a senior, you really have no other choice. So this is not a very helpful comment. How much time do I usually have after module two? I mean, me, when I'm talking, I don't actually have that much time left over. And I haven't done a lot of streams when I'm not talking. It's been a long time since I've done a straight stream without talking. But I think realistically, I expect myself to have the first pass through done. With if I don't talk, I expect myself to have the first pass through done with maybe one or two bookmarks with I don't know, 8 minutes left, module two, maybe, if I'm not talking, if I'm just sort of doing uh it straight through. And yeah, kind of basically I can control it. I can give myself 12 minutes of time left over if I just move on faster from questions, or I could give myself like 2 minutes of extra time if I just don't bookmark anything and I just like try to get it all correct on the first shot. Yeah, but yeah, I think it just depends. And some tests are a little harder than the others, so that kind of changes it. But it's actually more important. It's not that important. That number by itself isn't that important. What's more important is whether you can control it. Like I had a lot of kids that I've tutored who are so solid on reading. They're so good at reading, right? And they're so good at like logical reasoning, and they can understand graphs and stuff. And so they consistently finish their first pass with sometimes 10 minutes. I've seen many kids like that, actually. Kids that finish their first pass with 10 minutes. And these are kids who usually get like 750 or above on their practice tests. And then they go into their SAT on test day, and they still crumble, and they get like a 720. Now, for them, that's crumbling because they've been getting 750 or above. Why does that happen? Why does that happen? It's because they never could control it, okay? They always know how to go at one speed, but when it's the real test, and when their nerves are touched, and when they're kind of when they're sort of like more jumpy and panicky, right? They don't know how to control their pace. So this is something I try to drill, right? You need to be able to control that pace, especially the higher up you are. You need to be able to control that pace. So that's more important than just having a number, right? That number is just artificial. So that's what I would say about that. What did I get on the SAT when I took it in high school? I took a different format of the SAT than you guys, but I did get 800 on the reading and 800 on math. So I mean, it's a different format. It's different. It's somewhat different skills even. The reading nowadays is less reading, what I would consider reading comprehension. Yes, there is reading comprehension, but really between the 700 to 800 range, the differentiating skill for the old reading test is actually reading a lot of information and keeping them sorted in your head and kind of knowing what the passage is doing. Whereas this is more about taking very compressed bits of knowledge and kind of mapping out the logical relationships. So for me, the digital SAT is more like a Rubik's Cube kind of thing, where you're just trying to, you're just like kind of fiddling with like these little pieces. Whereas the test that I took, which is also called the SAT, is more really about just like reading larger pieces, like essays essentially, and actually knowing what it's trying to say and how it's trying to do that thing. So yeah, kind of different tests at this point. And the SAT, I don't know. I don't know if it's a good test to be frank anymore. It's getting closer and closer to like logic puzzles, but I don't know. It's not bad. It's at least they're clean. The questions are clean at least, but it doesn't really teach. It doesn't really test reading as much. It tests some verbal reasoning. So yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, dude, 770, you can definitely do that. If you're getting 770 and 740 and module 2, you're like, you maybe have like, 10 seconds left, right? You're like down to the last second. It's almost certainly just misallocation of resources. It's not a skill issue. Well, it is a skill issue in terms of the skill of test taking. Like your test taking mechanics are all out of whack, but it's not a skill issue in terms of the questions themselves, right? It's that if you are scoring 770, then that means there's like 2 questions, maybe 3 questions that you don't need to get right, but you're too clingy, okay? You really, 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 really want to get those right. And when you're clinging onto those questions, okay, what's happening is that you're actually dropping your confidence on some of the other questions that you really should be getting right. You're dropping confidence, you're dropping potential points on some of these other questions, and then that feeds back into a more heightened sense of anxiety and urgency, and it makes you more clingy. So then, what happens with all that clinging is you actually just keep burning time down, right? You just keep, like, you didn't need to burn. You probably, you might be down to the last second, right? You probably could just change your approach and suddenly find that you have 6 minutes left, and maybe 8 minutes left. Like maybe your ability and my ability are actually literally the same level. You don't know though because you're too clingy compared to me. You just need to stop being clingy. And how do you stop being clingy? I think I think the best sort of one of the sort of analogies I like to make is that, do you guys remember that that white and gold dress that turns into a blue and black dress? Do you remember that white and gold, blue and black dress meme? It's like a really blurry picture of a dress in like someone's room. And I think a lot of you guys, if you've seen it before, you've been able to successfully see the white and gold dress, and then you're also able to successfully see the blue and black dress. But very unlikely that you were able to do it back and forth in one sitting, right? You'd have to look away, you'd have to maybe forget about it for a bit, and then you come back to that same image and then you could see it, right? Well, reading comprehension is very similar, right? When you are like in the zone and you're trying to like debate B versus D versus B versus D versus B versus D versus the author suggests a reason for a characterization versus the author implies that the character has a flaw. Like, you're just like debating these two like crazy, right? Or whatever. When you're in that zone, like sometimes you're literally just looking at a white and gold dress and you're not going to get out of it. You're not going to get out of it because you're too tunneled into that, into your, into your line of reasoning. Okay. And when you're tunneled in like that, it's very hard to see the big picture. So what do? Take a break. Just reset. Finish the rest of the test. Get all the easier questions out of the way. And then by the time you're done with all the easier questions, you'll be like, oh yeah, I'm highly confident on 24 out of 27 questions. And this question that I was tunneling in on, that's probably the question that's going to get, this is probably a 780 level question. So let me try it next. And you come back with fresh eyes and you're like, oh, shit, I cannot believe I didn't notice the blue and the black. Like in the passage, it said this thing. It actually is not describing a flaw. It's describing a positive characteristic of this person. Okay, then you just eliminate D. And that actually takes you a sum total of like 20 seconds, Whereas if when you were tunneling between B and D, right, it would have taken you 2 minutes and you still wouldn't have gotten it right. So that's not a skill issue. That's just like poor resource management issue. You're just fixating too much, right? So you just gotta move on from it. Again, you actually might have higher IQ than me, right? You actually might have a better understanding of the questions than me, right? But you could still undermine your score by fixating, by clinging. Yeah, just remember that if your target score is, even if your target score is 800, although that's a bit of an outlier, if your target score is 770, just remember that you could still get 3 questions wrong, or to be safe, 2 questions wrong. So you're still sacrificing. Like in module 2, you should expect there to be 2 questions that are just out of reach for you, right? Instead of trying to take your 5% confidence in the hardest question of the entire module and take that 5% confidence and bring that up to like a 50% confidence. No, just have 100% confidence on 24 other questions, right? It's just easier to have 100% confidence on 24 other questions than to get 50% confidence and then on that one question. Like the amount of effort it takes you might be surprised, like the amount of effort it takes to go from 50% confidence to 100% confidence on that last question might take 30 minutes with a dictionary, right? You might need to actually spend 30 minutes with the dictionary just to get that one question, because maybe it's beyond your level. Like maybe you need to learn how certain types of inferences work. I mean, probably you don't, right? But it's literally, it could be the hardest question, and it could be such a hard question that you would need 54 minutes for with a dictionary just to get that one question. So why? Like, don't spend 3 minutes on it. Don't spend 5 minutes on it. Don't spend 8 minutes on it, right? Don't do that. Just get 100% confidence on all the other ones. Yeah, so now that's the thing. If you believe yourself, okay, so then now I have to modify my advice for you, which is if you're aiming at the 800, you got to believe in yourself, obviously, and you do. It seems like you do believe in yourself. But now the goal is many mini goals, like sub goals. What you need to do is you need to have high confidence in 24 questions. Well, between having high confidence in 27 questions and having high confidence in 24 questions, how many other integers are there? How many other natural numbers are there between 24 and 27? Well, there's 2 other natural numbers, dude. There's 25 and there's 26, right? So you actually need to hit 24 first before you hit 25. There's no way of getting 25 high confidence answers without first hitting 24 high confidence answers. And there's no way of getting 26 high confidence answers without hitting 25, and same for 27, right? These are, you win these battles one battle at a time. So what you need to do is hit 24 first. And then you see, okay, I have 4 minutes left. With 4 minutes left, you need to hit 25 high confidence questions next. Now, it's been an hour, so I'm going to wrap up, but you could, with the 4 minutes, decide to just sort of equally distribute the time, and you let the time dictate your decisions for you. But I do not recommend that, okay? If you let the time force you to spend only 2 minutes on these questions, you're much more likely to not have high confidence on either of them, okay? But the goal is, okay, to just keep winning one battle at a time. You want to 100% every single question. And that's the way to at least maximize your chance of getting that 800. Okay, because you're not going to get an 800 if you are, like, if you're spending like 5 minutes of extra time on 5 bookmark questions, and you're just like, or like even if it's 3 bookmark questions, like 5 minutes extra time on 3 bookmark questions, and you're just trying to equally distribute, the likelihood of you rushing in a way where you don't get any of those points is so high, because you're trying to equally distribute your time. Don't do that. Well, I don't know what benchmark means, but when I am checking an answer, all I'm doing is measuring my confidence in my one answer choice. and making sure that it is completely correct. I am not looking for a different answer unless I see that my answer could be wrong. If I don't believe that my answer is wrong at all, then I do not look at the other answer choices at all. All right, so, and that's why the high confidence, like that's why it's really important to get your confidence to 100 on every single question. Because once you have your confidence to 100, then you don't waste more time looking at answer choices that are not going to do anything for you. All right, guys, that's it for me today. I gotta go. Good luck on the SAT tomorrow, everyone in the States. You've been preparing the last, 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, maybe some of you like 5 months for today, the October SAT. And this one is special because it's the last one for seniors before their early admissions deadlines. So don't let the pressure get to you. When you go to the test center tomorrow, I want you to treat it just like any other practice test. And I want you to go into that test center with all the training that you've done, okay? If you've trained a bunch of like roundhouse kicks, okay, go into that test center ready to roundhouse kick the fuck out of 27 questions. And then do it again on another 27 questions, right? If you've trained a bunch of uppercuts, I want you to go into that test center and just be mentally prepared to uppercut the fuck out of all those 27 questions. And then again on the next 27 questions. Because that's what you're doing. You're doing what you've already been doing. That's all it is. There's nothing new, right? And what you've already been doing, that's good enough, all right? It is, if you suddenly decide, dear uppercutter, if you suddenly decide tomorrow that instead of doing uppercuts, you're going to start doing eye gouges, I mean, God bless, God speed, and God luck. Good luck, dude. Because that is just, I don't endorse it. But, you do you. Eye gouger. Good luck, right? Maybe. But just know that that's a decision that you're making, and you're going to have to take the responsibility if that doesn't fall the right way for you. But if you decide to just do the thing that you've been training, it's going to be familiar to you. Like, you're going to know the variables. You're going to know how to respond in different situations. And I want you to just trust that process. It's just another practice test. But the difference between this practice test and all the other previous practice tests is that, there's just more people involved. Okay, that's all it is. Just don't sweat it. Do the same thing that you've been doing. And remind yourself of all the good things, all the things that you've learned in the last couple months, and just believe, okay, that you're going to be able to utilize that knowledge tomorrow. So you got this. Good luck tomorrow. And hey, until next time, keep on learning, keep on growing. By the way, guys, there have been a bunch of people enrolled in my course. If you're curious about the course, I wrote a big Reddit post about it, and I guess I'll do another post somewhere on YouTube. But you can also look for details down here, okay? If you look at details, you can learn more about what I'm teaching in the course. Essentially, though, I'm teaching how to solve the test in the same way that I solved the test. All right, guys. Good luck tomorrow, and see you next time. Bye.